Today I have a 2015 Toyota Sienna with a 3.5 liter V6 2GR FE engine. And this particular Sienna van is equipped with the U660F 6-speed automatic transmission. And today the customer has requested that they wanted to do a full transmission and or flush service. And now this customer recently purchased this van, and they just recently did a couple drain and fills on this transmission. However, the fluid is still dark and dirty and smells a little bit burnt. And also because the previous owner did not service the transmission regularly, and so today we are going to be doing a flush on this minivan. Welcome back to the Moose Mobile Auto Repair channel. And so now we are going to get started on working on the service. So if you're not sure as to what transmission you have, you can open the driver's door on the door jamb here, and where the VIN number placard is. If you go here, you'll see A/TM for automatic transmission, and you'll see U660F. So we are going to get access to the transmission cooler lines, which is hiding down here. You can either get access from the radiator directly or from the transmission cooler. So we are going to remove the bolts holding this air box in place. Need to remove the evap lines here. So I don't think there is an auxiliary cooler on this transmission, because I see it is going to the transmission and directly to the radiator and cools it down inside the radiator. So I don't think there's an auxiliary cooler on this. So anyhow, we are just going to disconnect one of the transmission lines and to see on which one is the return line, so we can get the fluid out. We're going to remove this clamp here. So we're going to use a tool to take this line out. You can see the old transmission fluid. So what we're going to do is we're just going to try to briefly to start the vehicle to see if fluid comes out of there. So right now I just briefly connected a fuel line hose so that it would be able to handle the pressure, so we can drain the fluid out. You don't want to drain it to the point where there's no more fluid in the transmission, otherwise you're going to damage the system. So you just want to drain just before all of the fluid runs out. And it's probably a good idea to add some extra fluid in the system before you do this. Okay, start it. Okay, shut it off. So you could see that the fluid came out of the return line here. Yeah, this time when you start it, just let it run. Maybe like 10 seconds and then off. Okay, hang on. Okay, start it. Okay, shut it off. Okay, start it. Okay, off. So we have a a bucket here, just in case, and the cooler line is disconnected. I took out so far almost close to 2.5 liters. I'm probably gonna add some more fluid in the transmission and drain some more out. So I pulled off the driver's side wheel in the front. So we are just going to remove these clips. So I broke these clips off camera. They are not the original clips that came with this car. So I'm just going to replace these retainer clips with something else. So we are going to remove the bolt here. It's a 10 mil. And this will give us access to the fill plug. It's a 24 millimeter. So we are going to open that up. I did a couple of drain and fill service on this previously. We are just going to reuse these washers because they're still in good shape. Usually these drain gaskets, they typically need to be replaced every service. So right now 3 liters came out, so we are going to put 3 liters back in. I'm using the Valvoline Max Life automatic transmission fluid. I've been using this stuff for a very long time, and I haven't had any problems. So I'm going to be using this, and I'm going to be using the driveline filling tool to fill up the transmission. So we are going to fill up the transmission now. So we filled it up with approximately 3 liters. We are just going to temporarily to close this up. Okay, start it. Okay, shut it off. So you want to repeat the process several times or so until you get clean fluid. Okay, start it. You shut it off. Okay, start it. Okay, off. Okay, start it. Okay, off. So roughly I had about 12 and a half liters come out. I put in roughly 11 liters or so, just pretty much the same amount almost. So the on the last one, the fluid came out clean. So we are going to stop now and fill up the system with possibly approximately 10 liters or so. So we are just going to disconnect this. This was not really needed in the first place, but I put it on just in case. So we are just going to reconnect the cooler line back. Just make sure you try to place the clamp back in the same position it was in before. If the clamp is no good, if it's loose like this, you may need to replace this clamp with a new one. So I'm using a new fuel style type clamp that's designed for high pressure. So I'm just going to install a new clamp here. This is a 15 to 17 a millimeter in diameter. This takes a 7 millimeter socket. You want to tighten this up until the hose does not move anymore, but you don't want to over tighten it. So once you're all done, we are just going to add some more fluid in and reinstall the air box and the evap lines back. So we are going to refill the transmission with clean fluid now. We are finished with the flushing procedure. So I filled up the 5 liter jug. Now I'm filling up the other 5 liter jug. I'm about 7 liters or so. So it's filled up here in the transmission, but we are going to have to start the vehicle to get the transmission fluid to circulate so we can continue to fill it up inside the transmission. So I temporarily close this up because I don't want it to splash. We're just going to start the vehicle to get the fluid to circulate so we can add more fluid in. Okay, start it. We are going to run the vehicle maybe for half a minute or so, and then we are going to shut it off. Shut it off. We're going to open this up again and continue to fill it up. Now I'm able to put more fluid inside the transmission now. And if you see fluid come out again, you may need to start the vehicle up again and maybe go through the gears to circulate it and to continue adding more fluid. So we started the vehicle again, and we cycled through the gears. to get the fluid to circulate, and we are going to see if we can add some more fluid in here. I think that's as much as this transmission takes now. So we are going to stop for now, and we are going to level the vehicle up, and we are going to check the transmission level. So just temporarily install this by hand. Don't forget the drain gasket. It keeps on coming off. So we're just going to temporarily install it by hand, and we are going to have a look at the level. So right now I'm using a digital leveler gauge. I want to get this vehicle on level ground, close to level ground as possible, close to zero. So this is 8.7 degrees. It's a little too much, so I'm going to try to adjust my jacks here and see if I'm able to get it on close to level. So it's at 1.85 degrees, so that's not too bad. It's gonna be very hard to get it exactly at zero, but as long as you can get it close to zero, then you should be okay. So we are going to start the vehicle now. I have my scan tool here. It says 2GRFKS. This is the 2GRFE. This is not the FKS engine, if I'm not mistaken. We go to 16 pin North America. We are going to get the transmission fluid temperature to see on what the temperature is. So this is your 2GRFE. So we are at the data stream here, automatic transmission oil temp from ECT. We need it to be between 95 and 113 in order to check the fluid level. So this is perfect. So we are going to check the fluid level, but before we do that, we are just going to cycle through the gears, reverse and drive every 5 seconds, so that we can circulate the transmission fluid. And just keep doing that for a few times or so, and put it in park, and we are going to check the level. So we are going to check the fluid level now. This takes a 6 millimeter hex Allen key, or hex bit. So we are going to open this up, and we are just going to keep draining it until we get a thin and steady stream, and then we are going to close it. Then that's how you know that the level is at the correct level. So we are going to open this up. You see how clean the fluid is now? So until we get a thin and steady stream, and then we should be okay after that. So this transmission was overfilled for the purpose of cleaning the fluid out, to flush the fluid out. So I think we should be almost there now. Until you see a thin and steady stream, we are going to close it up. So I have to empty out the excess fluid. So I'm going to try this again. And that's it. It's pretty much, yeah, this is a thin and steady stream, so you can close it up now. You can see the fluid is getting thin. I'm just waiting for it to become a trickle. So it's becoming a thin and steady stream now. So we're just about to close it up. And that's it. I'll put the torque spec on the screen for you guys to see. I believe it's 30 foot-pounds for this drain plug, overflow plug. So I closed up the fill plug here, and I also added some new clips here, and then I just tighten up the bolt for the cover, and that's it. Just make sure you wash everything down with brake cleaner to make sure there's no more of the old fluid that's left over. Make sure you don't forget to wash down the brake rotor if you spilled any of the fluid on here. So spray some of the brake cleaner and then wash it down. I forgot to mention earlier that you can use the Valvoline stuff if you want, but if you're not confident, or if you want to use the original stuff, you can go to the dealer and use the WS fluid, world standard. So you can use this stuff. It's a little bit more expensive than the Valvoline stuff, but you can use this. It doesn't really matter. I've had no problems using the Valvoline stuff. I've been using this for almost 15 years now in a majority of vehicles, and I haven't had a single problem yet. So I'm working very late tonight, and I'm just almost done. I just need to put everything back, the air box and all of that stuff. I'm not going to show that because that's the easy part. So anyhow, I drained approximately a total of 21 liters, and I believe I used about roughly 18 or 19 liters, but you don't need to use that much. It's all going to be dependent on how bad and how dirty the fluid is. If the fluid is extremely dirty, then you will need a little bit more of the new fluid to flush it out with. But in this case, this system here in the transmission was extremely filthy and dirty. So we needed to use a ton of fluid in order to clean everything out. As you can see, when I was trying to check the level, you saw a bunch of clean fluid coming out. So that's how we know that the system is clean now. So just make sure you clean everything up and put everything away. And I'm going to go for a road test and confirm the service just to make sure that everything is okay and the transmission is shifting smoothly. That's it for today. If you enjoyed this video and found it helpful, please don't forget to give it a like, and please consider subscribing to my channel if you're not already a subscriber, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Have a good night. and take care.